Hello, welcome back to Marvel Puzzle Quest with me, PiMacleod. We're on day 4166, and we're here for just a normal Crash of the Titans. But it's not, it's double. If you didn't notice, and I'm sure you did, last week we had a Crash of the Titans, but it was just a single dot, a single node. And it was, I want to say Carolina Dean, but the point is that it was only a single fight, and we've already had that fight on the books years ago. Again, check the archives. We have a playlist full of these things, all the Crash of the Titans for the last years and years and years. So why run the same video again, right? We already have it in the archives, and if anything, our Carolina Dean was lower level then. So easy peasy, right? This one's different. Today we're going with Maria Hill, and she has yet to have 2 nodes. So let's rerun this, and this time we'll get a little bit of extra out of her. Not to mention, some more information about the enemies in the game. You know how I like to do here. It's like a history lesson built in. Here we go. We're gonna get Agent Coulson. He's cheating. He's an agent. How dare he cheat? I know you're supposed to get by as best you can with what you got, but dude, 555? Come on, man. Agent Coulson came into MPQ quite a long time ago, but just after passives started ramping up in the game. Passives came in and into the game slowly but surely started getting better and better. By this point in the game, we already had stuff like Peggy Carter, and I want to say Polaris was in by that point. There was definitely a few that were making waves at the time. Obviously Rocket was already doing his thing. Agent Coulson came in with a way to shake up the countdown meta, if you can call it a meta. All 3 of his abilities are active abilities, but at the same time they each have a passive ability. And at the time, that was kind of unprecedented. We didn't see someone with so much utility in his abilities. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but here we are. He had, let's just start at the beginning. His yellow, just to keep an eye out for it, his yellow is probably the least used of them as an active power. But as an active, it creates a bunch of little countdowns on the board. Yellow ones, blue ones, and black ones, I think? I think it's black. I'll have to recheck that at some point. But they're all different things, whether it's basically shield agents coming in and providing strike tiles, doing team damage, doing a sniper shot on one guy for a lot of damage, just a bunch of countdowns out there. And it's probably the least important of his abilities, but it adds to his arsenal because he is all based on countdowns. So with that out of the way, the other ones are a little more important. His purple is nice and cheap. It's 6 purple. You could, I think it's 6. I'm going to have to check when we get into the fight. 6 purple is swaps 2 tiles of your choice, and it charges them. So if it's a purple and a red, it swaps them, and now they're charged purple and red wherever they land up, and it does some damage upon doing so. So if you plan it right, you'll get a charged match, which means getting at least 5 AP of the colors you charged into those swap positions. Of course, you can also, move things around and make things harder for the enemy to get to. Hey, what's up, John? How's it going, buddy? Quick hit, work meeting in 4 minutes, maybe. Okay, well, I'm still discussing Coulson, but I'll do what I can, John. Sorry. So he is a really good swap mechanic. He was an early swap guy too. You didn't have a lot of guys like that at the time. Then finally there's this blue that has, it takes the countdowns on the board and steals AP based on how much you got out there. It's a little weird to discuss like this, but it makes more sense when you see it in action. It's not that oftenly used, to be quite fair, but at the same time, you can steal quite a few AP when you have it. More importantly is the passives on these abilities, though. His passive on the blue, if I remember correctly, is the one that states, if you have 6 or more team-up AP, anytime you or an ally make a match, he lowers the countdown timer on one random allied countdown by 1, and then you spend 2 of the team-up AP. So, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're triggering countdowns quicker, it's kind of a big deal. Well, when a countdown goes off for Coulson, also I think it's his yellow that does this, triggers, and it provides you 2 random AP. I think it's random AP. God, man, there's a lot of a little cloudiness here. And then finally, his purple passive says that whenever... Am I mixing these? We're going to have to double check. When you cast a power, any ally casts a power, he makes a 1-turn countdown in just a random location, and that 1-turn countdown, when it goes off, does like a good hit of damage, right? But it triggers the other things, right? So you're also getting the free AP for going off, and not to mention, this just provides utility and value to all the other countdown players out there, because obviously when countdowns hit 0, a lot of other passives can trigger. Look at 5-star Hobgoblin for more details. Anyways, hey John, thanks man. Thanks for the shirt comment. Okay, no problem John, I'll talk to you later. So Coulson has a lot of utility in his abilities to make countdowns, to swap tiles, to steal AP, and then the passives in all of them allow you to generate AP, generate more damage, make countdowns go quicker. He has a lot of utility. He is really the definition of a support character. You don't count on him to win the match with pure damage. He's not an Omega Red. He's not a Chasm. He's nothing like that. Instead, he is a great tool to put on the side to put with other characters. So he shouldn't be too hard to beat unless you let him run away with those yellows and make a bunch of countdowns for him to work you with. Okay, ready? Let's get into it with Maria Hill. It's Shield Agent versus Shield Agent. Ugh. Let's take off my boosts. Don't need those over here. And let's look into her abilities, which are recently buffed. Okay, so what you're about to see is actual things that have been changed recently. We'll start off at the top. Maria Hill's Life Model Ambush. It is for 8 purple. Let's crank it up to 5 so you can see the full effect. She sets up a devastating ambush, whatever. Create 4 purple trap tiles that deal damage when removed by either team. This is a big change from what it was. A, the damage has been upped a bit. B, when removed is a much more cleaner way of dealing with trap tiles. That means destroyed, matched, or even just overwritten. If you take an attack tile, like let's say you create an attack tile with Carnage and it overwrites the trap tile, it's still removing it. Like anything that basically gets rid of that trap is going to cause the damage to go off. The only negative of this ability is that it is 4 purple trap tiles. You don't get to say where. It just creates them. They're out there somewhere, right? So you don't get to say where they are. You're not really sure if they're going to go off or not. They might get tucked in a corner where you can't reach them. But at least either team removes them and they trigger. So there is that. That is something that a lot of traps didn't have for a long time. So thankfully she at least has that up her sleeve. Moving on to the next ability, Best of Intentions. I have it at 6 for black. It's actually probably one of her best ones, even though it has a nice strong negative to it. You'll see, I think. You get to create 24 strike tiles. Yes, that pause is worth it. 24. That's crazy. I don't know if you know your math, but there's 64 tiles on the board. That's almost half the board of strike tiles, okay? And then a 3-turn countdown tile, and when that countdown tile goes off, Maria takes damage equal to 90% of her base health, unless she's invisible. That's kind of an important point here. But honestly, 24, 104 as it states on my screen right here, it could be different for you, of course, strike tiles, that's over 2,000 extra damage for everything you're doing. Now, of course, some of these tiles are going to get matched away and it's going to get lessened over time, but if you could also save your strike tile strength if you want by putting low-level AI support on her. That way the strike tiles you match away get compiled, that strength gets compiled into the existing ones. But of course, again, you do you. So obviously with this ability, you want to do something to get rid of that 3-turn countdown before it goes off, unless you make yourself invisible. Enter her last ability, Get Out Alive. It is for 7 blue. She deals some damage. It's a meh ability, but it hits the enemy team. It's kind of important. Take that ability's damage and add it to all those strikes you just made. Assuming you cast the black first, then you cast the blue. That's a lot more damage now. That makes this blue even more potent, and you're invisible for 4 turns. The countdown tile was only 3 turns, right? So as long as you cast this relatively soon after, the same turn, maybe the turn after you cast that black, you'll be fine. Plus you'll get all that strike damage built in. Most people like to build Maria Hill like this. You know, you have that purple at 3, and then the other 2 at 5 because they coexist so well. Side note, Maria Hill, if you are going to do your teammates any favors when you're sharing team-ups, Maria Hill is one of those team-ups you should probably share more often than not. Why? Because some of those puzzle gauntlets that we go through require you to put a row of strike tiles out or a column of strike tiles out. Remember those? Really hard to get a lot of strike tiles at once. We try to rely on Polaris when we can, but some of those puzzle gauntlets don't let us bring her in, right? Ask for a team up. Ask for Maria Hill team ups and send them yourself. Whenever Maria Hill is available in your roster to send a Maria Hill out. That way your team ups, your allies in your alliance will have hopefully a best of intentions on hand to make 24 strike tiles and hence make that puzzle gauntlet a lot easier. Okay? Spread the word on that. It'll help you and your alliance out. Anyways, that's Maria Hill in a nutshell. We're going to try to rely on that black and that blue as much as possible. We're not going to use any supports for this, but if you have any trouble with these, don't forget you can drop me a line on YouTube, on Twitch, Facebook Messenger, Reddit, Discord. Throw me something. My name is the same everywhere. Let's get into it. Oh, shoot. One thing. We should probably hit this up now. Character effects on. There's no startup animation for them that I can remember. I don't think there's any passive like that. Let me double check. Coulson. 12 yellow. Forgot it cost so much. I thought it was like 10. My bad. But yeah, see yellow whenever a friendly countdown reaches 0 to random AP. Random AP, but it's AP. The purple, whenever you make a match when you have 6 or more team up, spend 2 to reduce 1 random friendly countdown. It costs 8. I'm sorry, I said 6 earlier. My bad. And then super secret tech. I forgot this cost 11. Dang. Anyways, steal 3 random AP for each friendly countdown. Yeah, that could get really, really awesome, honestly. So maximum of 5 tiles, but still, if that's 3 per every tile and up to 5, that means it's 15 AP. Spending 11, getting 15, that's what I call more bang for your buck, right? Of course, whenever an ally activates a power, create 1 random 1-turn countdown that deals some damage. Okay, so yeah, he has nothing that activates at the start of the battle. Neither does Maria. She doesn't even have any passives to speak of. So, we didn't have to worry about that, thankfully. Let's start the fight. Come on, Maria. We want blacks, we want blues, and if we could deny Coulson along the way, that's great. Coulson and Maria overlap on blue and on purple, so we want to get the blues and purples prioritized. He could take all the yellow, we're not going to use it, and it'll suck when they go off, right? But we need our AP. We're not going to work well if we don't have what we need. So let's go this red into black just for the... There we go. Okay. Now remember, the black is the one that puts out all the strike tiles, which will make this a quicker fight, but we have that 3-turn countdown, right? Let's make sure we get our invisibility ready so we don't lose the fight due to some sore miscalculation, right? Just need one more blue AP. Watch this be the hardest one to get, right? Now remember, he likes blue, so if we make a blue available to him, he'll probably match it too. Let's get rid of that yellow. He doesn't want that, right? I'm trying to make him set us up. See, if I match this purple, it'll also leave the blue for him, and that's no bueno. Although that purple is one of the only obvious matches I see. I guess we can match that team up down there. Let's do that. Trying to make it so I can't leave him the blue. There's a black. There's yellow. I'll probably take the black. I hate leaving him the yellow because he's getting close to that, but I mean, there are countdowns. We can still match him away if he creates them. There we go. There. Now it's game time. All right. Best of intentions. Just comes out shooting. Look at that. There's a lot of strike tiles. I mean, seriously, that helps win puzzle gauntlets, that ability right there. Okay, so now we have that out there. Get out alive. Little jetpack thing a bit jig. Look at that. 6,000 damage. That's team damage. Doesn't look like that much right now, but like against a whole enemy team, that's pretty good. Makes you wonder what it looks like at the 5-star level, right? Let's go with, I guess I'll grab the team up, right? Look at that damage, 2,500 right there. And we'll just do that. And he's dead. Easy peasy, right? Once you get those strike tiles out, and we probably could have done that earlier and just match damaged him to death, but you want to be safe, right? You don't want to accidentally make it so that countdown isn't matchable. All right, woo, lots of rewards because I have yet to do my Deadpool dailies. Okay, and finally, we're gonna go against the 4-star Black Widow. Wow, and she's cheating too. 555. Okay, this Black Widow came out back with Infinity War, hence the hair color and all that change. Okay, she isn't looked at that often favorably. It's not that she's bad. It's more that she's got a complicated kit and takes a lot to really dig into. Start with her black. If I'm being fair, I think her abilities are pretty cool if you mold the team around her, but that's not how a support character should play, and that's what makes her clunky. Bear with me. Her black is a stun. I want to say it costs 10, if I remember correctly, which is expensive for a stun, right? But we'll look at it to make sure of our numbers. But it has a passive. So it's like a 3-turn stun, and a passive states for every turn, at the start of every turn, if at least one enemy is stunned, you destroy 3 of their AP, if I remember correctly. So it isn't just for her stuns, it's good for anybody on your team that's running stuns. You could easily just start depleting their AP and leave them more and more helpless. It's not a lot of AP, but still 3 is the minimum amount a match makes. Well, I mean, unless you're counting Chasm and Abyss tiles, but you understand. Her purple is kind of weird. I always pronounce this word wrong. It's called a defilade? Defilade. I'll show you the word when we get into the fight. I never knew how to pronounce it. Maybe I should look it up one day. But it puts out these invisibility tiles that target her. So now she's invisible as long as these are on the board, right? It also changes that ability to enfilade? Infilade? I don't know how to pronounce it. That ability states that if you cast that, she destroys her invisibility tiles. But when doing so, she also destroys other enemy tiles for each one. She basically like a tit for tat thing, right? And it's a good way to get rid of enemy special tiles, but you give up your invisibility when doing it. It's a little cheaper than making her go invisible, if I remember correctly. It's just sometimes it's better just to stay invisible. I don't know if I really want to come out of invisibility just to destroy some tiles. I guess it depends on how important those enemy tiles are. And finally, there's her yellow. Her yellow is kind of one of the bigger draws of her, but it costs 10. It's called Brush Past. You select an ally, and that includes herself. She heals them for X amount of damage. It's an okay heal, but she puts a countdown on the board. I want to say it's a 3-turn countdown. And while that countdown's on the board, all allied abilities are 3 AP cheaper. That includes hers. That includes that black stun. That includes any allies with stuns. That includes a lot of things. 3 AP cheaper is a big deal. So you're getting cheaper abilities, including your own stun, which gets cheaper. And of course, her passive still works, making enemies lose 3 AP at the start of every turn. Just because, well, she says so. Brush Past is pretty good. The only caveat I want to note with it is that if you are running a Brush Pass based Black Widow build with a team, usually one of the ideas is to cast Brush Past again when it has 1 turn left on the countdown timer, because since it's out there, it means all your abilities are 3 cheaper, so now Brush Past costs 7 instead of 10. Cast it before it goes up, before the countdown goes away, so you can get a cheaper cost and keep that buff running. Anyways, that's what we're going to fight against. I don't think we'll have a lot of problems. I want to say her Black Stun, like I said, is a little expensive. Her Brush Past is expensive. We should be able to get rid of her before she causes too much trouble. Her invisibility might be the one problem we have. Thankfully, if she does go invisible, we do have her Maria Hills Blue, which does team damage. Remember, invisibility doesn't get around that. Okay, so we're not going to change anything. We're going to leave it as is. We're going to hopefully trigger that those purple traps, though. We want to get that animation played, right? Hey, Mark, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. We want the same purple, blue, and black. I see black. I don't see a lot of other things. I guess we'll take the black. Got a nice black to blue there. Luckily fell in my lap. Good morning indeed. I want... Well, you know what? If I don't see any purple, and you don't see any blue, and you don't see any black, there's no reason that you should allow the teammate to have what they want. I mean, the enemy, I should say. Get rid of some of that AP that they could use. Again, no purple. Oh, there's some black right there. They could use the... Oh, yeah, we didn't say... We said we were going to look at her numbers. Let's take a look real quick. Oh, black is 8. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I said 10 earlier. But yeah, 3 turns, deals, does some damage, forgot about that. But more importantly, yeah, if enemy is stunned, she destroys 3 enemy AP in a random color. Some of these destroy AP abilities are always like the strongest AP. This is actually a little better in some respects because you're always guaranteed to get something, you know, like you can't just like, oh, their strongest AP is 0, you'll get nothing out of it. But this one says random, so you're always going to destroy something, right? Defilade costs 7. See, and you make 4 invisibility tiles. I thought it was 3, but whatever. Maybe at a lower level, right? And then it turns into this one, which costs 10. Destroy your invisibility tiles, and then destroy 4 enemy special tiles, dealing damage and gaining AP. I forgot it gains AP. That's pretty nice. Anyways, and then Brush Pass. You know, 4 turn countdown tile. I apologize. I mentioned that to be 3 turn. Anyways, let's keep rolling. I wanted... I don't think I'll cast that yet. We want to make sure we're safe with that stuff. I don't see a black. I don't see a purple. What we can do is we can make this blue accessible. She doesn't... Black Widow doesn't have a blue, so this might be safe. Or she's going to be a jerk. Let's go with... Yeah, we don't have a lot of options here, so we'll take what we can get. I guess we're going to take that green, because what else are we going to do, right? Oh, she gets a nice fresh board. I see how it is, game. We should probably start taking the blue while we can, even though I need that purple to make those traps. You know what? Like we said, she's not going to take the blue. Let's see if we can hold off on it. Let's get that purple before she goes invisible, right? We don't want her to do that. I guess I could take the blue now. I don't see a good purple match. Gotta take the match 5. That's silly if you don't. Okay, I guess, I mean, right? Get the blue and that extra purple. Oh boy, here we go. And now that we're stunned, we're going to be, AP is going to be removed from us every turn. Ah, yuck. Don't it just mean I haven't used her that many times, but I only use 4-star Black Widow with Black Cat and stun team. Yes, Black Cat and Black Widow are definitely good together. At least the 4-star Widow with her. They work really well together. I agree. Well, she deleted some AP, but she didn't delete all of my good AP, thankfully. So now we just need that purple, right? We just need one more purple to get that out there. I could just start casting powers, but we said we wanted to show the purple power off, right? But I don't see... oh well, give me that yellow for now. We'll try to move things around. I don't want to give her the purple. Take that. There we go. This is what we needed. Okay, so now we get to see our animations, right? Right. We don't want to overwrite them, though. So first, we'll put out the best of intentions. Okay. I do think it's funny that she's shooting guns, but then there's no damage done. It's just a bunch of strike tiles out there, right? So like the bullets are just hanging in midair, just waiting. I don't know. Life model ambush. There we go. So she's got her life models out there. Now you can see they get out alive. We have all the animations in play. If we get rid of one of these purples, remember it's going to do the damage, which is what we want to do. But I don't see a good way to get to them. So we're just going to do what we can, which is kill her. There we go. And that is Maria Hill's Crashes of the Titans. That's it. Nice, easy mid-workday break right into the crash. Got that done. Thank you very much for joining me, Mark, and thanks, John, for dropping in earlier. I will catch you guys pretty soon. I'm out for the weekend, but I'll see you on the flip side, okay? Talk to y'all later. Bye.